It's Alice Cooper right here on your Classic Metal Show with Brutal Planet from the CD of the same name. And just before that, we heard Richie Kotzen with You Can't Save Me. And speaking of our Lord and Savior, I want to welcome my good friend, Chris Aiken. Welcome, Chris Aiken.
Hi, friends. How are we?
Well, we're back after a week off.
It was a nice week off, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it was, actually. I got to go out and experience some live music and go hang with friends.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, and you got to celebrate the joys of holy matrimony.
Yes, I did. I got to attend a wedding.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, it was actually fun. I had a lot more fun than I thought I was going to have, but yeah, it was a fun time.
So did you anticipate you weren't going to have a fun time?
Yeah, honestly, yes, I did.
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the wedding was the ex-wife of my brother. So me being there, I have to deal with all of her family, who I know, but also know who I am and know that they all hate my brother. Because he's the one that screwed over their baby. So yeah, I anticipated it being a little difficult to maneuver, and it kind of was. There was definitely a little of the whispering in, oh, what is he doing here? That kind of shit. But it was all good. Bottom line is I'm really good friends with Christina and her new husband Roger. So they made it seem like it was okay, and it was okay to me, so it was all right.
Sure. Well, was your brother invited?
No.
So you were invited, but your brother was not invited.
That is correct.
Wow. And I understand the friendship that you have with your former sister-in-law, but was it uncomfortable for you to accept the invitation to go?
No, not really. You know what? I mean, me and her have been good friends, and honestly, once I fixed everything with my parents and my brother, that was one of the conversations that was had, was that I wasn't going to, stop being her friend just because, I came back to the other side.
Sure.
So, I mean, on that level, no, but, it's one thing when it's people that you've directly had the conversation with. It's another thing when you've got a bunch of people that don't get it.
Right.
And that's what it was half the room was people that didn't get it. Then there was, I'm told, I don't know this to be true, but I'm told that there were some people that were offended that I sat on Roger's side of it was a real formal type of a deal.
Sure.
I sat on Roger's side instead of Christina's side, but my kids sat on Christina's side, and, there was a lot of little things going on. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, very interesting.
But, that was last week.
All
now
right.
This week I'm back.
All right. Hang on just 1 second. Don't say anything. I got to make an adjustment here real quick. Sorry about that.
All right. What happened?
Nothing. It's just for some reason my audio processor for our mics sometimes loses the right channel. I don't know why.
Oh, that's weird.
So if I power down and power back up, it fixes it. So I think it's just static in the switch.
Right.
So we're back. Nice full power now.
Here we are. Hi.
All right. Well, anyway, I went and attended Tesla along with our good friends American Dog last week.
You did? How was that?
Actually, well, as far as the music and the show went, it felt very familiar.
Okay.
Because Tesla was Tesla.
Right.
And my time was more or less spent with the guys from American Dog at their merch table.
Oh, that's cool.
So even though I saw and listened to Tesla, I did not stand there and watch the show.
Okay.
But I hung out with Michael and our, the new guys.
You're right.
And of course, Steve Theotto, who was, always very cool. But
Sure.
I did watch their set. But the only thing I did not enjoy, as I said to you, I think in a text or something, that now I remember why I hate the House of Blues so bad.
Hate that fucking room.
It's just when you get a popular show, and I've been to the one in Cleveland, I've been to the one in L.A. or Hollywood, and I've been to the one here in Chicago.
Sure.
And if you get a popular show, and I guess this is true with any venue, but because of the way the venue is set up to where it has balconies and tiers, and it's straight up and down and whatever, it's not laid out very well. It's just that when you get a popular group or act into the venue and they sell it to the capacity, you cannot move or breathe.
I know, it sucks.
And that's the one thing I don't like. It's just that you're just crammed into the place, shoulder to shoulder, chest to back.
Right. And it's worse on those kind of shows where you're literally standing still versus like a show that would have like a mosh pit or something where you can move around a little bit. Because when the mosh pit starts, well, then there's some room that opens up. But, on those kind of shows where you're just, basically that is what you're doing. You're standing around because there's nowhere to sit.
Right.
You end up just standing there and it just fucking sucks.
Yeah, and it's hot and you can't move and you can't breathe, and people who want to go to the, use the bathroom or go get a drink, they're stepping on your toes and you're trying to make room for them to get through, and it's just it's more of an aerobic workout than it is, watching a show.
Right, exactly.
Well,
I hate going to full shows like that anymore.
Sure. Well,
I'm getting old, and I think anymore I want a seat. I actually want a chair.
Well, I don't mind the standing. I just don't like the pushing and the crowding and the, not being...
Well, that's why I want a chair, though. Not because I want to sit, but because at least if I have a chair, I have at least a piece of space where I can get the fuck away from everybody else.
Right.
At least somewhat.
Hail and kill caller, you're on the air.
Hey! How the fuck are you guys?
Well, John, did you have a coronary while the Classic Metal Show was away for a week? Because I know how much you, I know how much your whole week depends on being able to interact with the great ones.
Yes, exactly. Hey, I hate to tell you something funny, because last week I was like, I kept calling, and I'm like, why the fuck are these guys not answering my call? And I have no idea that you guys were off.
John, take me through an average week in John Ruffo's life.
With me?
Yeah, let's pretend that your week starts. We'll just go with Sunday. What is a week of John Ruffo's life like, starting on a Sunday?
Sunday is usually a recuperating day.
It's a recuperation day. Why? Because you party.
Exactly.
Because you party hard on Friday and Saturdays. Is that the deal?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Like last night was incredible. We played so loud last night. I can't believe you guys haven't heard from here. so. Hey, I have to tell you something really funny.
Now your preface.
Hold on. Let me get my seatbelt on. I got to strap in for that.
You're prefacing this as very funny. Now, before you even tell the story, John.
John.
Hold on, John.
Hold on, John. Before you even start the story, okay?
Yeah.
Before you start the story, you need to seriously ask yourself: is this really a funny story? Have you told the story to anybody else, and does anybody else think it's funny?
No, because this is the first person I'm going to tell.
Well, that's what I asked. Have you told it to anybody else?
No, I have not.
So this is funny to you.
Actually, you're going to fucking laugh, because I did it all in the name of the fucking Classic Metal Show. I'll tell you this.
All right. I'm like Chris. I have a seatbelt on. I'm strapped into my chair. I'm anticipating this story. So,
Neely,
John,
grab your ribs too. Neely, grab your ribs.
All right, John, I'm ready for a really funny story to kick off my evening. Go ahead.
All right, are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Go.
So I'm pulling out of my driveway this morning, and my cousin Joanne was coming around the corner, and she let me go. So there's a 4-way stop sign at the end of my street, which is exactly in front of my guitar player's fucking house. So she, her son Bobby had a son last night at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I put I was at the 4-way stop sign, and I put the car in park, and I jumped out of the car, and I ran over to Joanne, and I was like, hey, congratulations on being a fucking, grandson again for the second time.
Well, wait
right?
a minute. John, did you actually say that? Did you say congratulations on being a fucking grandma for the second time?
Yeah, no, I did. I did. I'm telling you what I exactly said. Yeah.
Okay.
So this asshole behind my cousin Joanne was beeping at the
why is wait a minute, John, let me ask you a question, and I'm not trying to ruin your story. I'm trying to enhance it here a little bit. Yeah. If your cousin Joanne is blocking the road, keeping traffic from moving while you're out there having a leisurely conversation, and the guy honks at her, why is he the fucking asshole?
He's the fucking asshole. Well, but I did all in the name of the Classic Metal Show because listen.
Okay.
So the dude kept beeping. So I was like, hey, fuck you, pal, and hand jobs. And he looks at me and he goes, what? And I was like, fuck you, pal, and hand jobs. And he was like, what? I was like, oh, never mind. And then I got my car and I took off. So.
That's it? That's it?
That's it.
John, I'm gonna have to instruct you here, John.
Why?
Well, I'm being as your friend and as your leader and as your god in the Classic Metal Show. I'm going to have to instruct you a little bit.
Why?
I appreciate the thought that you said, "Fuck you, pal," and hand job, but until this is universally known, see, our club, and I'm going to include you in the club because that. Unfortunately, the Classic Metal Show is not quite as widespread as we would like it to be, John. And that only means something to the Classic Metal Show alumni. Yeah,
I know, but the funny thing was, he looked at me, and the expression on his face was like, "What?" That's the fucking funny thing about it. Okay. I was like, fuck you, pal, and hand jobs. And he's like, what?
All right, John. Let me ask you a serious question now.
Yeah. Nice one.
How important of a role does the Classic Metal Show play in your weekly life?
It plays a lot of my life. I look forward to this time every week, honestly. And I have so many people listening to you guys now that you wouldn't believe. Everybody in my band and everybody I know actually now listens to you guys. So, which is cool.
Nice. All right, John.
We haven't even seen the slightest spike in numbers.
What?
Nothing, John.
Well, John, do you have any more good, funny stories to tell us? Because that last one just broke me up.
That was a scream.
No. I'm going to go back to having a few cocktails and listen to you guys and fuck you, pal, and hand jobs.
All right. Thank you, John. And there goes.
That's the guy in his neighborhood.
And he's the asshole.
Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. Nice.